Hey everyone, Jim Gonzalez here, EDI Support LLC. It's another Wednesday. Here in Pennsylvania, it's actually sunny, which is nice. Still a little cold, but it's sunny out there. So yeah. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about how to navigate through EDI being mandated for different trucking companies, transportations, organizations, those type of things. So I've been getting a lot of reach outs from smaller transportation companies, trucking facilities that are doing, intermodal, localized last mile, that kind of stuff. So a lot of people don't understand and don't know that in the transportation industry, when it's dealing with trucking, there is some major players, but those major players really only consist of 5%, maybe. The other 90-95% are smaller trucking outfits that are like 20, 30 trucks. Okay. To me, that's still a larger company. 20, 30 trucks isn't cheap to have and maintain and all that kind of stuff. But they're not, NFI and all that kind of stuff. And the funny part is actually, they do a lot of their subcontracting. So a lot of these different organizations out there that are major subcontract out to these other businesses for, like I said, the last mile or cover certain areas, or maybe they have refrigerated trucks and maybe they have, carry hazardous material, whatever it may be. Okay. So a lot of these organizations, these are people that are typically more focused on keeping their trucks on the road, keeping their drivers in the seats, keeping products moving, doing what they got to do. They could care less about computers and IT and EDI and all these different things. Just tell them where the load is, what to pick up, what the load is, what to put into the back of the truck, and all of those things, and let's just get moving. So they don't want to do technology and everything else. So this video is to try to give you some insight into what are like old practices. So a lot of the old practices in trucking and transportation industry was, hey, the old way was print it off. It's a paper, hand them the paper. The guy would hop in the truck. He understands by that bill of lading or whatever it is that gives him a defined of what the product is that he's transporting, where he's going, who he's delivering it to, all of those things. Okay. Well, a lot of companies now, the old way is you had to call someone, hey, and then they would get on a CB radio and they'd be like, hey, where you at? How far out? All those fun things. Now people want to do it electronically. You have GPS tracking. You have electronic logging that's going on in these trucks to basically know when a truck driver is running, when they're not running, when they're asleep, when they're not asleep, all of those fun facts, where they're at, mileage, tire pressures, is the refrigeration running at a certain temperature? It's crazy the amount of the information that's coming off of these trucks now, and all these different sensors and everything else, and people are trying to make them autonomous. And trucking industry is not like it was, in the 70s, 60s, 50s, 80s. It just keeps evolving. And lately, that EDI is becoming even more of a mandate. And the reason it's becoming more of a mandate is because people don't want to pick up the phone. How many people like to text? How many people like to Slack? How many people like to send messages and never speak to the actual individual because they feel as though it slows down their day? Well, that's why EDI is starting to be mandated. EDI is starting to be mandated so that the data can go from one system to another system electronically without any human interaction, so that you can know where that truck is, what's on that truck, where its destination is, all of the pertinent information that involves that haul or the haul you're ready to pick up, or hey, this load is out there available and we want somebody to say, hey, give it to me. I'm here, I'm free, I'm available. I got 3 people sitting in the wings that are ready. We got the trucks here. We're ready to go. Give us the job. So bidding on jobs, accepting jobs, to what's the load? Where's it going? What times have been picked up? Where's it going from that step? Oh, we need to be notified an hour out before you get to our warehouse so that we can make sure that our forklift drivers are ready to unload that truck. All of that information that used to be over CB radios or a phone call or all of those things, they want to make that now electronic. And they want to make it so that a lot of the times the truck driver can do it with a push of a button. If he's driving, he doesn't want to take his hands off the wheel and do CB radio, phone calls, whatever. They want him to be focused on the drive. Hit a button. Boom, it tells him, here's where I'm at. Not hit a button. GPS shows them where they're at, goes back, hits up their company that they're riding for, and that company automatically knows, oh, they're an hour out. We need to send this notification. So EDI gets sent. TMS systems are getting very complex. They're getting heavily involved in tracking and everything else. So EDI is, again, the electronic way of doing something in an automated fashion without human intervention. So that importance of EDI in the trucking business is so that consumers are aware where their product is. They're ultimately what it comes down to. We want to know. We're an instantaneous society. We want to know what's going on. So there's common documents that are being exchanged in transportation. And again, when it comes to trucking, these drivers are reaching out, or owners of the smaller trucking outfits. I've had some bigger ones, but majority have been smaller trucking outfits have been reaching out saying, hey, Jim, I looked up EDI. I don't know who Eddie is, and I want to know what's going on. What do I got to do? What's up with this? I pay people to deal with my IT stuff. I'm out there. I'm grinding. I'm making sure these trucks are running. I'm making sure I got drivers in the seats. I'm making sure I'm getting more accounts. Tell me what I got to do to be compliant, because I'm now getting mandated by my largest company that I'm driving for. That's saying, hey, you got to do this. They're breathing down our necks. We need to get this information over. We need to do things electronically so that we know where the products are. We know what's going on. We have an understanding of all of that. So as you're going through it, you have to start thinking of what are all the ramifications that are going on behind the scenes to handle non-EDI compliance. That's why they will say, we're mandating this, or we're going to fine you, or we're not even going to use you anymore. Because I know this other outfit that's down the road, yeah, we've been working with you for 10, 15, 20 years, but I'm sorry, if I go to this other outfit, it's not costing me money, it's not costing me my reputation, it's not costing me any of these things. So I have to leave you. You don't want to be in that boat, because now you're losing your living. You might lose your business. You may have those things happen. And again, I'm not speaking from conversations that I haven't had with individuals out there over the years of doing this. Correct. So I'm going to share this comment. You are 100% correct. EDI is just so late to the transportation business. It is. I agree. It's a simple fact is it's been pushed. It's been pushed back on. I have family friends that were truck drivers or still are truck drivers. They tell me about all of this. They tell me about, listen, I want to hop behind the wheel. I want to drive. I don't want to have to worry about this stuff. So they're reaching out to companies like ours and saying, hey, what do we got to do? How do we get compliant? So the importance of it is to basically keep your job, keep the information flowing, keep people aware and notified of what's going on, being able to accept jobs and doing all those things. Some of the people ask, about Web EDI, or also known as non-integrated or manual EDI. So non-integrated Web EDI, when it comes to transportation, think of it this way. Somebody's still going to have to go into a website, whether it's in your back office, at your trucking outfit, or wherever. Or it's, I hate to say it this way, it's you on the road with an iPad. You're having to go to a website, provide details as to where your products are, accept loads, do all of those things. So when you're thinking about it from a standpoint of web non-integrated EDI, there's somebody interacting to get those EDI documents produced. You may not look at them as EDI documents. They may be told you as an invoice, a bill of lading, load tender, those various documents that you're going to do inside of a typical transportation or trucking relationship. And we're going to go through those. I'm going to give you the numbers. I'm going to give you a brief understanding as to what each one is. But you're going to have to cover those through a portal, doing things manually of filling out where the truck is. Are you accepting this? Are you not accepting that? Doing all of those things. Now, do some of them autofill? Yeah, they'll autofill as much information that's going to stay standard, or maybe reads from a previous document that you received. But for the most part, somebody's still going to go in, interact with those documents, get them set up so that you can be compliant. Okay. Now, a lot of times, those organizations, they don't have a TMS. They don't have a transportation management software. They don't have that layer so that they can be integrated, so that they can get the data from somewhere else, or so that the data can go somewhere else. Or they don't have a platform that they're leveraging for tracking their stuff from a trucking or transportation industry. Great. Came from medical to logistics, and it's a drastic change. It definitely is. Medical EDI is also important. I agree. When you're dealing with the transportation and you're thinking, okay, what documents are we typically dealing with in transportation? So there's a 204, which is a motor carrier load tender. That's basically the shipper or the 3PL is saying, hey, I have a request for a shipment to be picked up. Next document, a 990. It's a response to that load tender. So that's basically saying, hey, I want to accept it. I want to take on that load. That load, I'm good. I've got people, I'm ready to rock. You have a 211, which is a bill of lading document. That document basically provides all the details of what is pertaining to the shipment. How many cartons, pallets, items, all of those things. What are you picking up? Is it frozen goods, non-frozen goods, whatever? It's in your bill of lading. You might come across 212 delivery trailer manifest. So basically the carrier sends this transaction to the consignee or interested parties, listing the contents of the trailer that contains multiple shipments. You have a 214 shipment status message. Where are you? You can have multiple shipment status messages depending on how long of a trip you have with your product. So 214 is basically keeping people in the loop as to where that product is at, where your truck is at, what you're doing. Then you have a 210. Hey, freight details and invoice. Pay me. Pay me for delivering your product. You got to send them an invoice. One that's not really seen as much is a 322, which is a terminal operations and intermodal ramp activity. So it provides all the information necessary for terminal operations, port authority, or intermodal ramp to communicate terminal and intermodal ramp activities to authorized parties to a shipment. All right. So 322, you might run across not a lot of organizations that I've been privy to have actually used a 322. You have an 820, which is basically a payment order or remittance advice. So that's them. You've sent them a 210, and on that 210, when they pay you, they're going to send you an 820. That 820 is going to tell you what the payment is, when you're going to be receiving it, what invoices they're paying out for. Not everybody has those. And then, of course, you have the common document, which is a 997 or a functional acknowledgement. Those functional acknowledgements are basically to say when documents are being exchanged back and forth. You say 997s are so pointless. I don't agree with that. The reason I don't agree with that is because 997s is another track or trailer of product. So when a document gets sent, if you're using AS2, you have MDNs to say that the communication was good. That's not saying that the payload or the document has been delivered. So when a 997 goes back, that's basically saying your system is acknowledging the receipt of that payload, of that document. Okay. So that document, if you get the 997, some systems read into the document that it's received and will tell you if it's rejected or something that happened during processing. That 997 will say accepted but rejected, or but errored, errored out, or accepted. So 997 actually is a useful document if you have to do accountability. When a client says, hey, our system never got that document, you can say, hey, here's the 997 indicating that your actual EDI system did receive that document, because it matches it based off your control numbers. All right, cool. So benefits of actually being integrated. Now think of it, if you have a TMS or you have a system on the back end that can do those responses for you in an automated fashion. So it can, through your systems and through your setups, you're a really good system where it's giving GPS locations, and it knows based off your GPS location how far you are from a particular drop-off site. It knows, hey, listen, when this truck is 50 miles away, I need to send an update as to the location of where the products and the goods are, because now that company needs to get ready to receive those goods. So there's a lot of things that can come and play there when you're dealing with an integrated, and it's not you as the trucker driving the truck having to do those responsibilities of sending out the information, or your back office of sending out the information. It's going to be a part of your natural process. Whereas Web EDI is an add-on to your process, because you're having to then go into a separate portal for the most part and send the information and fill out the information that's needed. I hope that makes sense. So integrated, less. Non-integrated, more of a process, more involvement, more information needed to be keyed in. Integrated should be a lot less information needed from you or from your trucking company that handles that. Well, hey, thank you. Great content. Cool. I'm always happy to see people that subscribe to our channel. We try to put this information out there to help anybody out. So steps you should take to comply with trading partner requirements, improve efficiency, and save time and money. The biggest thing is you have to plan. I've ran across a couple companies recently that are like, hey, we've been sitting on this, we've been waiting, and we have a deadline in a month. Well, all you're doing is you're putting yourself under the gun to make a selection of something that may not be the perfect fit, may not be the real answer that you need had you taken the time when you were first notified of needing to bring on EDI. So once you know about it, you should start doing your research. If you need help in who can really help you, reach out to me. Again, I'm having these conversations on a weekly basis. Reach out to me. I'll give you insight, find out what's going on. It's free of charge. And it's either going to be that, hey, it makes sense to work with us, or, hey, here's another organization that you can work with that'll take care of you because that's what you're looking for. I've made a lot of relationships over the years, and I make relationships with good companies that I know will take care of you, that I know will work through and hold your hand and make sure that you're good. So understand the mandate, conduct a readiness assessment. So looking at what do you have as your current tech stack, systems, processes, all of those things. And again, if you don't know how to do these steps, reach out to somebody. Reach out to somebody that does this for a living, that sets up EDI. I typically say reach out to an EDI consultant, because if you reach out to just a single organization, they're of course going to say to you, hey, I'm a salesperson and I believe you should go with our product. Not, hey, what do you have going on? Let me tell you about what I see and what I think and all these things and help you. So your next is investing in an EDI technology. Do you need it on-prem? Do you want it in the cloud? Do you need it to be integrated, non-integrated? Do you need what all do you need? How robust or how minimal do you need that EDI solution for handling those requirements? You're going to basically start to collaborate with other EDI providers, service providers, because you're going to talk to different people. You're going to figure out who is the real ones to help you. You're going to start getting through training on what the system looks like, how the system interacts, all of those things. You're going to do a test your EDI processes. You're going to establish communications with the different trading partners that are needing you to be compliant. You're going to monitor. You're going to, as I always say, this is key, number one, and I keep harping on it, seek professional advice. You want to talk to people that do this and not that are salespeople. You want to talk to people that do it, get into different forums, Reddit, our Discord channel, LinkedIn, wherever, to get advice from people that are in this space for long periods of time. Other trucking companies. Truckers talk. You guys are in the same industry. You do the same thing. You know your buddy that's rolling the same line as you, that's going down that, whatever highway it may be. You're all running the same routes. You're all running the same lines. Like, you're all on the same. So, hey, talk to them. Would you get mandated? Did you get EDI compliant? Were you mandated for that yet? Talk. Find out who they're using. Find out what they're thinking. What are their pros and cons of what they're doing? Keep informed. Best way to keep informed, check out YouTube, check out us here on LinkedIn Live. Do those type of things to keep yourself immersed and involved, because guess what? EDI is not going anywhere. EDI is only going to be there to, again, automate the business process so that people can track what's going on throughout the world. People want to know when it's on a boat to when it hits the dock, from the dock to the truck, from the truck to the warehouse, from the warehouse to the facility, whether it be direct to a store, direct to a consumer, whatever. People want to know where it's at. People are needing to find out those details so that they can prepare, even at a house, to receive those goods. Any questions that you have, various things, when you're growing and you're building, you may have an answer that you're going to utilize right now, and then you may have an answer of things that you need later down the road. So later down the road might not be the same solution that you have right this moment. So if you're starting off with Web EDI, that's cool. Do Web EDI. If you're receiving and you're dealing with hundreds of invoices a week and you're doing it manually, Web EDI might not be the solution. It's up to you. Another question. So if you ever have guests on the show, I'd be interested. Senior EDI developers, myself. Hey, shoot me an email. jim@edisupportllc.com. If you shoot me an email, we can definitely have that conversation. I'm up for having people on. I'm up for having conversations. Again, this is all advice of things that I've run across or that I see my team doing or any of those things. These aren't the end all be all. These are me saying, here, I'm sharing with you what I've seen, what I have going on, what people are talking to me about. So yeah, cool. If anybody has, again, if you have any questions, you have anything that you want to talk about, anything that's coming up, reach out. Jim Gonzalez, EDI Support LLC. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on LinkedIn, like the posts, comments, everywhere and anywhere you can find us. And of course, we have our Discord channel. Check them all out. All the links are going to be in the comments section. But as the Wednesday is wrapping up, I hope everybody has a great rest of your week. And I will see you next Wednesday. Take care.